Hi, beautiful people. You are very welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for all of your love and your support. Thank you for always stopping by to watch me. Or if this is your first time watching my video, you are very welcome. I welcome you with the biggest hug. I appreciate your presence here. Okay, so let's get right into today's topic. Today, we will be talking about how to survive in Brazil. Okay, if you have decided to move to Brazil permanently, either as an individual or collectively as a family, there are certain things you need to have at the back of your mind so as to avoid certain type of struggles or stress for you when you move to Brazil. Okay, number one, and one of the most important things is that you need to understand that in Brazil, Portuguese is the main language of communication. Okay, it is very hard for you to find anyone that speaks English except foreigners. Okay, so if you are not able to speak Portuguese, it is very vital or very important that you learn the language. If you've already decided to move to Brazil, you've made up your mind, maybe you plan ahead 1 year time, I'm going to move to Brazil, you need to begin to learn the language before you come. However, if you still cannot speak the language when you get here, you can continue to learn the language. There are lots of organizations that organize free Portuguese language classes. All right, that video is coming up. I'm going to be making that video, so watch out for it. Okay, so why do you need the language? Okay, this is very important. This is a very important question. Why do you need the language? You need the language first of all, so you will be able to communicate with people around you at your work, anywhere you find yourself. Communication with people will be very easy. All right. The number two, which is one of the most important reasons you need the language, is to be able to find a job. In any job in Brazil, Portuguese language is very vital. Without a language, it is very difficult to work in Brazil. So this is why you need to learn, or these are the reasons you need to learn language. Okay. Now, learning the language might require some time. We learn differently, right? People learn languages differently. I might be able to learn the language within 2 months. You might be able to learn the language within a month. Some it might take them 6 months, some even a year. So it depends on how we are able to adapt or learn fast. So however time you are able to learn is the time is the time you will be able to find a job. Okay, so now let's say within 6 months of your time, you're still learning the language. It means you need money to sustain yourself while you're learning the language. If you already can speak the language, good for you. All you need to do is come into Brazil, find a way to temporarily stay, change your status from a tourist to a resident, which you can do by seeking asylum. And after you are able to stay in the country, your next step will be to find a job if you already can speak the language. If you are not able to speak the language, after getting a certain type of residency in Brazil, your next step will be to learn the language. Now, if you're learning the language and it's still taking you up to 4 months or 2, 3 months, it means that within this period of time, you don't have a job, or you might not be able to get a job. You might be very fortunate. You might find an English speaking company or organization that hires you to work for them. But I must tell you that it is very difficult to find any English speaking language in Brazil to hire anyone. Okay, so most of the jobs you will find here, you need the Portuguese language. Now, so let's say you're learning and your learning period of time is 6 months or even a year or 8 months. It means within this period of time, you don't have a job, right? So that brings me to my major point. Before moving to Brazil, you need to save some money. Save enough money that will sustain you within this period of time, pending the time you are able to get a job. So having enough money with you while moving to Brazil is very important, because you might not be able to get a job within certain period of time while you're learning the language. All right. So if you already have a family here, then that is absolutely good. If you have a family that can give you a place to stay, like accommodation, that is good. If you have a family that can feed you, that is absolutely beautiful. So that means you don't need to save so much, like you don't need to save so much. But if you don't have a family here, all right, it means that you need to save quite like a lot to be able to have enough for you to survive here while you learn the language. As soon as you're done learning the language, you can find a job. Now, one of the greatest and beautiful places that you can explore job that is good for job search in Brazil is Sao Paulo. Okay, a lot of other cities are not as strong as Sao Paulo, so I will advise most of the foreigners coming into Brazil stay in Sao Paulo. Okay, and there are government affiliated organizations that help people find jobs in Sao Paulo. I made a video about that. Please check my videos for that particular video and see how it can help you. Okay, so if you so you might go to these organizations, go there. As long as you are now able to speak Portuguese language, they will show you a list of jobs in your around your neighborhood. All you need to do is choose one that suits you, and then they will send you there for an interview. If you pass, you begin to work. Okay, so you need money, like I said, and like I said, if you have a family here, it means you don't have to save so much. But if you don't have a family here, it means you need to save quite, a lot to be able to survive here. Now, let's talk about how to get cheap accommodation. Okay. Now, when you come here, if you don't have a family here, you don't have a place to stay, you don't have a friend to stay with, you can get yourself a cheap accommodation. Okay, how do you find cheap accommodation? You can find cheap accommodation by sharing, either with others. If you're fortunate to find somebody who is willing to share, that's good. But if you do not, there are certain types of accommodation that are quite affordable. Now, this type of accommodation means that you will have your own room, or you might likely share kitchen with other people. I think you have your own room with your bathroom, and then you share kitchen with other people. Or I think you might share kitchen and bathroom with other people, but you will have your own private room. So that's another way to manage yourself. That's another way to survive while you pay less. Now, in this package, you don't have to pay for water, you don't have to pay for light, you don't have to pay for internet, you don't have to pay for gas. Everything is inclusive in this amount you will be paying. I think it's between 500, 600, 700, depending on how big the room is or how furnished. And these rooms are usually furnished. You have a chair or a small bed and a table, reading table or something like that. They furnish it in a way that it's comfortable enough for you to live in. Okay, so it all depends on the size of room that you want. Okay, you can even share with someone else in this room if you want. Okay, so some have 500. I think it starts from 500. 500, 600, 700, like that, depending on how beautiful, how large, how big it is. So check your pocket to see which one you want. So if you want to survive this way, this is a cheap way to get accommodation. Pay less and you get all the packages inside. Internet, light, water, gas, everything inside. Okay, it's usually not crowded. It is always very beautiful and clean. So it's not something you will have to say, oh, is it clean? Is it dirty? So you need to look at the type that you want and settle for it. Okay, so now how can you get this type of where can you get this type of accommodation? You can get this type of accommodation on OXL, OLX, OLX, or I'm going to put the correct whatever here. So on this website, there are lots. There's another website, I can't remember right now, but I'm going to put it here. As soon as I stumble on it, I'm going to put the both of them here. So on these two websites, you can find, on OLX, I have actually searched and I've seen with my eyes that there are this type of accommodation in there. Okay, now you need to search for the type of accommodation that you want. Any type that you want is there. You want a full room, half room, one room, then you share kitchen with other people. Everything is on OLX. Okay. OLX, yes, OLX. So I'm going to be putting the link right here so you can, OLX Brazil, so you can navigate through. So that website will really help you find the type of cheap accommodation that you want. Remember that you need to live cheap. You don't have a job yet. Live cheap so that things can go smoothly for you and you can save enough. Okay, so I think I've said enough already. Anyway, I don't know if I have anything else to say. Yeah, so thank you so much. I don't think there's any other thing to say. This is how you can navigate your way through to survive in Brazil. As long as you get cheap accommodation, you'll be fine. And then you can manage yourself when it comes to feeding. You know how to manage, your life yourself, spending little. You don't need to spend so much. And please watch. You can go down if you want to know how to seek asylum when you get to Brazil. I have a video for it. How to seek asylum, how to get a job when you get to Brazil. Everything is in my on my channel. Check them out and watch them so that they can help you. If you have any questions for me, please put it down in the comment section below. I will be more than happy and glad to respond to you. Thank you again for watching me. I will see you in my next video. Bye bye, guys.